Hi everyone, Kuri here with your weekly oracle card reading. This reading is for December 17th to December 23rd. And I do apologize, I am getting over a cold. My throat is still a little scratchy, so I will sound like this and maybe cough a couple of times during the video. Now, this week, I wanted to use the Archangel Raphael Healing Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue. And I was really thinking about what type of reading I wanted to do this week. And the healing cards just came to mind right away, and not because of my cold or anybody else who might be having a cold now. About the recent tragic event that happened in Connecticut with the mass shooting at the elementary school, and it is an absolute terrible thing. And I actually wanted to start off by taking a moment of silence, and I wanted to ring my heart chakra Tibetan singing bowl a couple of times. But if you guys could just close your eyes right now and just listen to the silence and just send love and light to all of the family members and the citizens that have been their lives have been drastically changed because of this terrible act of violence, and send love and light to the victims that have had their life taken away at such a young age. It's terrible to take one's life, and there's just no words that can describe the emotion and the feeling that's going on. So, since words cannot replace since there are no words that can actually replace people's feelings, why don't we just take a moment of silence and send love and light to everyone in this situation? Okay, we'll start right now. And I just want to thank the angels for having our love and our messages of light. I want to thank them for bringing them to the victims and the family members. And I hope that everyone is able to live in peace and go into the next life in peace as well. Okay, so for my reading this week, with all of the stuff that's been going on, and I've just been looking through different news reels online about different things that's been going on in America. And being in Japan, I am kind of out of tune about different things, and I try and stay away from the news because I feel like I never read anything good online. And, some of the things that Yahoo puts up on their main website just doesn't really have any happy stories, or even stories that are worth mentioning, I should say. But most of the stuff is always negative. So instead of turning to the news or trying to look for a source of media that's going to uplift our energy, I wanted to talk with Archangel Raphael today. I wanted to ask Raphael, what can we do this week to help the world, to help the situation that the world is in right now? We are going through really, really bad energy. Not only, just this whole shooting that took place last week, but, I read another thing about a gentleman, firing off shots in a parking mall, or a mall parking lot, and that a plot was thankfully, a plot was discovered of another possible shooting that could have happened. So really, what's going on, and what can we do to heal the world, really? What can we do to heal ourselves, to sort of, I don't want to say numb this pain that we're getting, or kind of numb ourselves to the situations that's going on in the world, because that's never the answer, to numb ourselves. But, what can we do to help us through these situations, and to help the world, and try and make things a better place, and try and reach out to people that are in a state of, obviously it's some sort of mental depression state, or I can't even say depressive state because I'm not a doctor. I can't do any of that stuff, but I can't diagnose any of that stuff. But you have to be in some sort of not in your right mind to think things, and especially to act things like that. So why don't we just see what Raphael has to say this week for all of us. So before I started the video, I actually cleared my cards, and I asked Raphael to really be with me and to help me, excuse me, and to help me with these messages. And I know some of you know that I'm sick, and I thank you for those emails. Really, I sound worse than I feel. I feel completely fine. It's just my voice. Okay, but anyways, I'm not the issue right now. Okay, I think my deck is shuffled. So I'm going to draw 3 cards again for the beginning of the week, the second for the middle of the week, and then the third for the weekend. Excuse me. I do apologize. So, for the beginning of the week, oh geez, Raphael says children. And it says, "Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for helping me to help children." And isn't that one of the main things that we really need to start to think about? And I thought about this a little bit yesterday, and I talked to my husband Masa about this yesterday. And you look back at some of the people that have committed horrible crimes of violence, and there's something missing in their childhood. And I know, there are some cases where people have grown up in a wonderful household, loving family, loving parents, but just something happens, and something goes wrong. And it might not be it might not be the parents, it might be the school life. Kids and children are growing less and less attached and connected to their parents, that they feel that maybe they can't talk to their parents, or confined in their parents. I know as I was growing up, and I had very difficult times in middle school, I was never able to talk to my parents about what was going on in school. And I know a lot of kids out there are the same way. And these bottled up emotions is what is really hurting this nation, that's hurting this world, because the children have no outlet to go to. They have no source where they can rely on. And what they do is they rely on narcotics, they rely on drugs, and they rely on weapons to get their message across. And usually they get a message across of just nothing but pain and sorrow, and then they end their own lives, taking down other lives as well. And it's terrible. So Archangel Raphael is saying that we need to focus on our children, the children of the world, because they're growing up and they're seeing this. They're growing up and they're not being able to connect with their peers, or some of the peers that might be in their life are not really the ideal type of parents that should be out there. And again, I'm not speaking for all parents, but even coming from a loving family, kids will have problems, and it's very hard for children to go to their parents and talk to their parents on a very deep level. And, I'm not saying that parents should be their best friends, Your parent should always be a parent, but you should be open. They should be open to being able to communicate with their child on a very deep and emotional level. So we really need to look at the children in this situation. Now, Raphael also says, use your natural healing abilities. Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for clearly guiding me, encouraging me, and supporting me in my healing work. And they're saying again, healing the children. This is about, and they're showing me this angel nurturing this little baby puppy, this little dog. And we're supposed to cradle our children. We're supposed to cradle young adults still. We're supposed to help them through any traumatic times that they're going through. Bullying at school does have an effect on kids. Watching negative, violent cartoons and movies has an effect on children. Reading very graphic novels and novels that are about violence and murders and things like that has an effect on children. We need to, excuse me, I have a dry spell now. We really need to nurture and use our healing abilities to help the children. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm now going to have a dry spell while doing this. And then finally, we have second opinion. And the card reads, Dear God and Archangel Raphael, guide me to the best healthcare professionals for this situation. Now, Archangel Raphael is telling me two things with this. Number one, if your child is going through some sort of not a good state of mind or not in a good mind frame, then you need to seek professional assistance. If you can't connect with your children, or you know someone who cannot connect with their child, or if you feel that there's excuse me, if you feel that there is a child out there that is not quite right. I mean, I read a whole bunch of stories about this 20-year-old shooter, and everybody said that, you know, they viewed him as being very odd and very distant from people. The signs are there, people. We need to look at these signs, and we need to stop these things right in their track. We need to get help to the people who need help. There's